Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite crochet gal Jillian, and today we have a very special video like always. Today we are going to be making a dupe. We're going to be making a dupe for this. I think it's called, the brand is called Coco, something like that. I've seen the dress on TikTok. This is the dress, and that is what we're going to be replicating. So today I want blue. I want to make a blue dress, but I know not to buy any yarn because I have 5 bags of yarn full in my room already. So I have these 2 skeins of yarn from Big Twist before we were sadly taken away out of Joann's, or Joann's disappeared. But I have 2 of these yarns. I only have 2 because I don't want to run out of one. You may or may not need 2 depending on how big your badush is in the back. So I'm starting off with 1. Obviously, if I need more, I will go into 2. But it is a short dress, just with some dingling dangalangs at the bottom and something that wraps around the bottom. Yes. So let's get started. So the things that I have for this tutorial is yarn. You can use nippers. This is what I'm using as my scissors, but it's something that you use to make bracelets and stuff. I have stitch markers. I have 3 of those. I don't know if I need 3 at this moment. I don't know anything yet. I want to advise you, whenever I start my tutorials, I'm winging it at first. I really crochet off the eye, off sight, off what I see, and then I just replicate it. So let's get started. If you don't remember what we are doing today, this is an example of what we are making. The first step that I did was I measured around my neck and I got 14 inches. If you don't have a measuring tape, you can just take a piece of string or take a piece of yarn and wrap it around your neck. Not too tight now because I still want you to live, but you're gonna wrap it around your neck and you are going to see where that, stops at, and then you are going to make your first chain the length of the string that you measured out around your neck. I made my chain, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to connect these together. So why you want? No, I'm not gonna connect this together. I'm actually not. Now, if you feel like you have the perfect measurement for around your neck, you can connect together and do it like so, and then, you feel me? But I don't have the perfect measurement. Like I said, I'm always winging it, so I might need to add some at the end, or add something to connect it at the end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to work in the back loops, and I'm going to do a double crochet into every back loop. So right. So you're going to yarn over, push your hook through, pull up, yarn over, push your hook through, pull up, and you're gonna do that all the way until your end. Okay, so this is the very first row of the part that goes around your neck, and like I said, if it's too small, don't worry. If it's too big, don't worry. No, if it's too small, don't worry. If it's too big, you might want to take it out and make it just a little bit smaller. But what you're gonna do now is we're going to yarn over, chain 1, and you're going to turn your work. And for me, I am going to go into under both loops, and I'm going to yarn up, and I'm going to just do a double crochet into every stitch, and then once I'm done, I'll come back and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so this is the very first part, and what I realized is I'm going to actually do the dress in a half double crochet, so it's not see-through, but the neck part is fine. So you just cut off your extra string, and you make sure that you leave enough space so that you can weave it in. You pull it through. So I measured it around my neck, and it seemed that it fit. It is snug, but that's no problem. So I placed my stitch markers where I want my neckline to begin. So this is the beginning of my neckline. This is the neckline that we're replicating, and this is where I'm going to be starting. So I am making the executive decision to switch from working in double crochets into half double crochets, just so the dress is a lot more elegant and sleek and less see-through. So what we're gonna do is we're going to reattach our yarn here. I'm gonna reattach your yarn. Okay, I've made it to my other stitch marker, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chain one, turn my work, and because I'm trying to get my ends to increase so that it covers up my boobs, I'm going to place double crochet, well, two half double crochets on the ends of both sides. So one here, another one in that same loop, and then I'm going to put one, 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 and in this last one we're going to place two. Okay, and we're going to continue this. Okay, so I did an increase on the ends for how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So for 15 rows, I added increases on both of the ends. So two half double crochets on this side, two half double crochets on this side, going all the way down, no increases in the middle. And now I am going to, okay, let me show you what it looks like on my body. This is what it looks like. And this is where it stops. This is where, you know, the increase stops. Now, if you have bigger bust, you're going to want to continue to do those increases. And if you have smaller bust, or if you have a smaller frame, you're going to want to, you know, adjust how much times you increase. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do 5 to 6 rows without increases. So in order to do that, you're just going to continue doing what you're doing, but you're not going to add any increases on the end. So we're just going to go 1 in every open space. Okay, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 regular rows of no increases on the side. And now I'm going to begin making the connecting part that, you know, would cover my back. I genuinely want my seam to line up in the middle, but I am also not going to stress myself out about that. So I'm going to measure out my back, and I'm going to see how much space I need. Okay, so I measured out 24 inches for the back. And like I said, I'm probably going to take off probably an inch or a half inch just so that it's not too oversized. I'm going to chain my work, chain 1. And now I'm going to make a chain that measures out to 22 inches. Okay. So I created a chain that measures out to about 21 to 22 inches. I made it without it being stretched out. It equals to like 21, 22, but if you stretch it out, it ends up being 23. Always remember that your yarn stretches over time when you wear it. When you're making it, over time it just stretches. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to hope that I can make sure that this isn't twisted. And remember that this is how it's being crocheted. So let's make sure you put it this way. And then I'm going to connect my yarn to this side of my work, and I'm going to create a slip knot there. And this is where my seam for my dress is going to end up being. It's not as noticeable if you do it the correct way. I've made dresses where I made the mistake of like not doing it properly all the way and it ended up being a diagonal, but either way the dress is still wearable. It's not the end of the world. So I'm going to chain one into my work, and I'm just going to go into the loop with half double crochets. So I did 18 rows on the back, well 18 rows all around with no increases. This is just like the torso part, so this is the bust part, torso, and we're getting into where the hips would start, so we need to add some increases. And if you do this project based on what your body measurements are, and I usually wing it like I said, so you can always pick up your project and put it on your body to see how it fits you. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add increases on the side. Now there's two ways to do this. So you can fold it in and match up your sides and see where you want to place your increases. You're also gonna want to make sure that you don't, regardless of where you decide to place your increases, you make sure that you don't put your increases in where you start and end your project, because then it's gonna make the seams look a little wonky. So if you measure it, you want your increases to be in this area, you're gonna want to place close to the end but not directly on where you end and start at. So for me, I want to place my increases where I'm ending or where I start and end, so I'm gonna place them around this area. And in order to do the increases, we're gonna do the same thing that you did in the beginning when you did 2 on the sides. So we're gonna do 2 on this side, 2 in one stitch on this side, and 2 on one stitch in this side. And I've already crocheted 1, 2, 3, so I'm just gonna go double crochet or half double crochet, 2 half double crochets into one stitch, and then I'll go all the way around with 1 half double crochet into every stitch until I meet my next point where I want to increase again. And in order to keep everything aligned, you might want to place a stitch marker where you placed your increase. I've made it to the point where I want to add my second increase. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place 1 into one stitch, and I'm gonna place another one into that same stitch, and then I'm gonna go around and finish my row. And make sure you place a stitch marker in your increase, just so you remember, because you want to make sure that every row that you do an increase on, you want to place it kind of in the same area so that your work doesn't look lumpy, or you can tell where the increase is. I made it back around to my increase from the previous row, and what I'm gonna do is you're gonna want to make sure that you place your second increase into that very first stitch of your increase so that all of your increases line up. And then you just continue doing your increases for as many rows as you need. And for the next 28 rows, or after you get as many increases as you need for it to fit your hips, you're going to do, I did, what was that, 26 rows? But you can do as many rows as you need in order to cover up your backside. So you're just gonna do that without doing any increases on the side. So you're just gonna go all the way around with 1 half double crochet. When I look you in your eye, what are you gonna do? Oh, tell me what you're gonna do. What are you in your eye? What are you gonna do? Oh, tell me what you're willing to do. Okay. I have these 2 strings. Set of strings, I'm gonna interloop them like so, and I'm gonna I made the twist, and now I'm not securing it on there, but I'm attaching it.
wishing the wheels will fall off. Time is ticking, it's taking you too long. Right before I decide to go. And like you heard me,